Well, hello, and welcome to Chateau Different Spirits, where I am trying to shoot as many videos as I can in the wee hours before work, before our new baby arrives. So here we go. Domaine Tariquet. I have reviewed two of these guys before, the 8-year-old and the 15-year-old. I did bring up the 12-year-old in my sort of palette building brandies video. I will link all of these up down below. So I figured it was time to do a review of the Tariquet 12-year-old. So, Tariquet Bas-Armagnac, one of the larger producers, which is not to say that they are large at all by sort of international LVMH kind of standards. The 8, the 12, and the 15 are all pure Folle Blanche, which is one of the big grapes. It's the classic Armagnac grape, also the classic cognac grape. You just don't see it as much there. And importantly, this is bottled at a cask strength, in this case, of 48.2% alcohol by volume. Natural color. That's pretty nice. And also, really importantly, these are not expensive. Distribution is a little bit of a mess in the US right now. They do have an importer, but I certainly can't find this in Illinois. It's relatively easy to find in Europe and on European online shipping retailers, hint, hint, for reasonable prices. So be on the lookout for this, is all I'm going to say. So enough of my yapping. Let's get some in the glass, and I shall tell you all about it, give you some reviews. Okay, so a little bit more background. I kind of, objectively speaking, I judge the 8 and the 15 to be kind of roughly at the same level quality-wise, which I personally, I prefer the 8 a little bit more. I find it fresher and fruitier. I appreciate the 15 for the extra wood it's bringing out, but I think it loses a lot in the process. I think it feels a little bit like weirdly thin to me. But objectively, I can't really knock points off of it for that. So I would say, I think they're basically on a par, which means the 15, which is a little bit more expensive, kind of loses on value. But, if you like wood, that would be the one you want. But in theory, what I was hoping for from this 12 was something that sort of united the stronger aspects of both. It brought a good amount of the floral, fruity aromatics, the lightness of the 8, and combined that with a good amount of the extra woody, planky goodness from the 15 without losing as much in the process. This was my hope, so let us see if that is achieved. Incidentally, this is lot. It has a lot number on it. So L21110. So presumably bottled in 2021. I'm guessing that's what the first two numbers are. But who knows? Anyways, that's the lot number. And let's get sucking into this. Ooh, dense nose. Very fruity and peppery. Lots of figs, actually. So figs, black pepper, black tea, black coffee, Colombian coffee, just fruity blackness. I'm getting prunes, but I'm also getting fresh plums at the same time. Little hints of rancia, little hints of like old furniture, but they're just kind of in the background there. Like just a ton of almost like fruit syrup, like plum syrup or something like that. But then there's flowers, almost like a floral grapiness, like a really good Moscato d'Asti. I've done my rant about why Moscato is awesome before, so I won't repeat that. And then some Christmas spices. We're getting cinnamon, cardamom. There's a squirt of lemon juice in this, a little sourness, which I like. Black cherry and some like modeling clay. which is great. Lots of wood, lots of flowers, and almost like a boiled down fruit juice concentrate, if that makes any sense. Good nose. I mean, way outperforms this price. I mean, that's true of all of these, right? All of the Tariquets outperform their price point nose-wise. But let's see what happens on the palate. My hopes and expectations have kind of been fulfilled. Wonderfully balanced, poised. We're getting like cardamom and coffee, so Turkish coffee, black cherry, figs, prunes, plums up front. Like, and then it sort of transitions into a lot of teas, a lot of black teas, raspberry eau de vie on the mid palate. And then on the back end, like suddenly the oak rolls in and the flowers roll in at the same time. They all kind of hit, both of those kind of hit on the finish, but without losing the stuff from the previous steps in the process. This is real good. Yeah, just a lot of things going on, a lot of depth of character, especially for this price point. Cold brew coffee, raisins, like raisin bread, actually. Raisins and raisin bread. Cinnamon, clove. Even a little hint of like mintiness in there. Not the leaf, more like mint essence. Like a little bit fakey mint, but nice. Almost a porter note. So roasted malt and sort of not aggressive like West Coast hops. We're talking more classic English, leafy English hops. Yeah, porter. Classic English porter. And the flowers. And just the delicious fruitiness. Oh, I like this. All right, let's add some water. Come back to it. It won't take a whole lot of water. Even though this is cask strength, it's Armagnac. It's still only like 48 odd %. So don't go overboard with the water. Is that enough? That's about right. Leave that sitting for a minute. The only thing for me that is holding back Armagnac in the US is kind of the price points. At least the entry-level price points. Like the fact that you can go buy a D'Artigalong 30-year-old for, 120, 150 bucks tops, is a hell of a lot of value for that once you start paying real money. But, I feel like most people are not going to be willing to sort of bite that much of a bullet for their first try on brandy because, after all, isn't brandy supposed to be sweet? Isn't brandy supposed to be a little bit effeminate and for wussy men who can't take the real stuff like bourbon and scotch? Real whiskey drinkers want something dry, right? Something like Angel's Envy, or something like I don't know, a Pedro Jimenez finished Irish whiskey. That's what real men want. Well, not something sweet like brandy. So, what would make brandy more attractive is something really, really awesome at more accessible price points, $50, $60. This feels like it's that. If the middle states could get something of this quality at a reasonable price point, like the avalanche would start. I am absolutely certain of that. I will say, how do I put this? This is almost certainly my favorite of the three, the 8, the 12, and the 15. I'm not going to give it that much higher score because I just don't think it's objectively that much better, but this is the one I'm going to be reaching for, like, well over 50% of the time, like most of the time. I like this a lot. On the nose with water. Actually, so when the first time I added water to this, I was expecting the wood to come out. You know, those sort of aggressive tea slash coffee slash dried fruit notes to kind of come in and punch me in the face and take over. But when I add water to this, what I'm actually getting is the distillate. I am getting more fruit and more floral notes. The distillate is actually winning out in the battle with the water. Yeah, it's just raspberry and dried, like dried currants, dried black currants, doused in flowers. Little coffee bean coming out there. But really, when you add water, the distillate rules the show, and I like that. I really, really like distillate forward Armagnac and brandy in general. On the palate. Oh. This is my happy place. Again, it's so well balanced. Lots of bitter wood tannins on the back end, but not too much. Lots of fruity floral freshness on the front end, but not too much. I'm not going to go crazy with this. It doesn't have the real depth of character you get with something that's pushing past, 20 years old in a less active cask. But man, this is good. It's like dried fruit ice cream that you've sort of covered in fresh fruit syrup. But with Christmas spices and like flowers, and you're having like a strong ass cup of tea, like English breakfast tea on the side with it. This is great. This is killer. This is, nothing hugely subtle and deep to talk about with this. It's just a great bottle of brandy. This is a fastball at 200 miles an hour, pitched right over center plate. Batter never saw it. I like this a lot. 87 plus out of 100. So it's just that little step up over the others that would make me recommend this a little bit more. Others are fantastic. Buy them. Buy them if you see them. They're also well worth having. But this one is a little bit more well worth having, if that makes sense. Yeah, it's funny. The wood comes out a little bit more on the palate, but the distillate comes out more on the nose with water. Yeah. Excellent. Excellent stuff. And I can't think of anything more to say. 87 plus, Tariquet 12, pure Folle Blanche, cast strength.